Hi everyone.
Hi everyone, in the previous video we implemented the App Life Cycle Cubit. Now we will use it to detect if location permissions are changed while the app is in the background. This means that the Permission Cubit needs to interact with the App Life Cycle Cubit. Erkan will now explain this block-to-block communication.
Sure, Aytunç. In the Permission Cubit, we will listen to the App Life Cycle Cubit, and depending on its state change, we are going to take some actions on the Permission Cubit. So let's go to the Application Lifecycle Cubit and its state to see what we currently have. So application lifecycle states have four distinct states, which are resumed, paused, inactive, and detached. So our goal was to understand if the user changed the permission state while the app is in the background. And when the user comes to the foreground back again, we need to make a check whether the user made a change or not, and then update our state accordingly. So let's jump into the Permission Cubit and start implementation and show you how to make a block-to-block communication. Just stay with me now and I will explain you what I'm doing. Let's create a stream subscription first, and we are going to have, and it's going to be a stream subscription of iterable application lifecycle state. I will name it as App Lifecycle Subscription, and it will be nullable. This is why it's showing an error. Okay. Now I'm going to assign it to, first I need to, before assigning it to something, first we need to create an instance of this qubit. So since we use injectable package and it generates getted code, what's going to happen here is we just say final application lifecycle qubit and declare the variable and pass it like this, the constructor, and that's all we need to know. The rest is handled by getIt, and it will find the App Life Cycle Cubit instance, and we are going to use that instance in this Permission Cubit. Remember that the App Life Cycle Cubit is a singleton. So in order to listen to the listen to the state changes of a qubit, we are going to use the stream property of a qubit. So remember that the state of both blocks and qubits are stream. Therefore, and we can use that streams for block-to-block communication purposes. Here we are going to, the only thing that we need to do normally is to just listen. But in our case, we want to listen. This one gives us App Life Cycle state singularly, but we want to get these states pairwise. I mean, for example, if you ever used a block listener before, in that case you have both previous state and current state, and you take action depending on change between them. So therefore we are going to use pairwise here, but I don't think that we currently have a restart. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. Let's import it and let me write the code for you, and then I will explain what's happening here. I'm adding the package popspec.yaml. Let's import rxstart. We imported rxstart. rxstart adds some additional features for streams. So we are going to listen to this stream pairwise.
And pairwise gives us the previous object in the stream as well as the current object so that we can compare what has changed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's say it will give us, for instance, just as an example, from the pairwise we will get something like this: paused, comma, resumed. So this means that the previous state was that the app was on the background, but now the user took it into the foreground, and now we know that, okay, we can check the permission again manually. If it was the other case, previous was active, resumed, and the current state was paused, then we don't need to check anything.
Good explanation, I think. Here, this stream now gives us a pair of App Life Cycle state, and it's a tuple. The first element of this tuple is previous state, and the last element of this tuple is current state. So what we need to check here is if previous dot equals to application lifecycle state dot resume let me check it like this.
Okay, it just asks for a constant.
Maybe. Yeah, I will add this.
Okay.
I just want to do one thing. I just want to add a Boolean property here, Boolean getter, called is resumed. I like comparing. I don't like comparing these union types as they are. I prefer booleans. Therefore, this is why I want to add a new getter. I will just write maybe when. So what this does is it will return resumed only when the state is App Life Cycle state that resumed. Otherwise, it will return false. So it's a better syntax, I think.
And Erkan, it comes from functional programming, right?
This functional programming? No, actually
maybe
this one is from the union types. From this union type.
From the freeze class? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we will check if previous and current is resumed states are not the same. I mean, the is resumed state is changed and current is resumed now. So the user was not in the foreground and now come to the foreground. So this is the condition that we want to check. If this happens, what we want to do is to check if the location permission is granted here, and it is a future, and let's assign the output to a variable called is granted. And finally, we are going to emit the outcome of this boolean to our state, like this. Okay, I guess that's it. By the way, here we use start with in order to get the initial state of the App Life Cycle Cubit state. Whenever a new event is come, we will have a pair. So we need to add this start with syntax as well.
Otherwise,
I think that's fine.
Otherwise, the previous would be empty, right? If you didn't put the start with on line 47.
It's not going to be empty, but you for this to be triggered, you need to have at least two states.
Okay, so if you didn't do that, we would miss the first state emitting.
Yeah, exactly.
We would miss it. Okay, all right.
One thing we need to do is to close the subscription that we open here. Here we declare the subscription. Currently we have two subscriptions. One is location services started subscription and the other one is App Life Cycle subscription. Here, as you remember, we close the location services subscription on the close method of the permission qubit. Similarly, we need to close the App Life Cycle subscription here. We will just call the cancel method of stream subscription. And that's it. Now we are done.
Perfect. And with this, I think we are finished with the permission feature. Next up, we will work on the location feature. We will do similar steps that we did in the permission feature with all the layers going over the location feature. So see you soon.
Bye.